Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, the weekly podcast devoted to all things spirituality and self-improvement. I am so delighted you're here with me today. Today I really want to talk to you and remind you about the importance of self-care. These times that we're going through right now are so super difficult. Whether or not you're looking around and seeing all the things going on politically all over the world, or if you're like me right now, we're up leveling. And so that includes a lot of personal challenges in my own life, and it probably does for you too. Anytime you get ready to up level, it's like the universe tests us about different things in our life to see, have we learned the lesson? Are we going to continue with that same pattern? And it might feel like you're being tested over and over and over again. And I know that can be really hard, and it can also be frustrating. It's exhausting to feel like you're constantly on a spiritual growth journey. But that's the thing about this spiritual awakening and the spiritual journey, is that it's never ending. And I don't want to discourage you, because I think that it does get easier. But as we're here in this world, we talk about healing and how healing is not a linear thing, and it's not a one and done thing. There's no expiration date for healing. We're all just here trying to live our best lives and to learn and to be our best selves. Most of us are. And when we're doing that, that usually means that we're making mistakes over and over again, and we're learning from those mistakes over and over again. And we're implementing that learning into our everyday life. This is why self-care is so important. And it's one of the first things that you end up putting on the back burner, because you'll say to yourself, oh, I'll take care of that later. I'll do that later. We tend to focus on everyone else, or we focus on what's going on in our lives and the problems we're having, instead of focusing on taking care of ourselves. I know that there have been a few people in my life recently who have gotten sick, whether they've gotten like the stomach flu, or one person I know got COVID. Everyone is feeling run down. And what happens when we don't take care of ourselves? Like those people who got sick, they were working. What happens when you don't take care of yourself is that it does manifest itself in a physical way in your body. So you will get physically sick if you're not stopping to take care of yourself. I know you hear me talk about self-care all the time, but I think you need a gentle reminder. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is the importance of self-care and what are some simple things you can do to really take care of yourself during these difficult times. Before we get started with today's topic, I want to remind you that my book, Beautiful Mourning, A Guide to Life After Loss, is now available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and also Apple Books. The audiobook version is also going to be available. It has been approved. I don't know exactly when it will show up in stores, but it will be available on Spotify, Apple Books, Audible, audiobooks.com, and a few other places. I'm not really sure, but it's been approved. They said it might take 2 weeks for it to show up in the stores themselves, but I wanted to let you know to keep an eye out that will be coming soon. So if you have experienced loss, or you know someone who has, and you're on your own grief journey and you need some help getting through it, my book, Beautiful Mourning, is a guide to those who have lost someone. I talk about my own personal journey, losing my mom to pancreatic cancer and losing my ex-husband to suicide. And I talk about the stages of grief, and I give you tools and tips for working through each stage of grief with a little more grace and ease. So Beautiful Mourning is now available, and the audiobook is soon available. All right, so we're talking about self-care today. Self-care can mean so many different things. Self-care can be deciding that you're going to stop talking negatively to yourself. It can mean that you take time out of your day to go sit outside with your cup of coffee and you sit and enjoy nature. It can mean that you decide to go treat yourself to a massage or to a facial or whatever it is that brings you joy. The main point of self-care is to soothe yourself, because when we get overworked and we get tired, the first thing we do is let all of those routines that we do for ourselves go. I remember, and I noted this in my book, that after my mom passed away, the first thing I did was I let my self-care routine go. I used to work out all the time. I love to do Zumba routines at home, and you can laugh at me if you want, but I thought it was so fun just to dance and have a good time. And I just didn't have the energy to do it. And a lot of people would say, well, give yourself time, give yourself grace. You went through a big loss. And I did, but I never found myself wanting to go back and do Zumba again. And that was a really weird thing for me because I was always a very active person. I know depression was part of it. But part of doing the self-care is even when you don't feel like it, it does make you feel a little bit better just to do things that bring you joy. We are getting ready to start school again. And as a teacher, I know a lot of people think, oh, it must be so nice to be off in the summertime. And it is, but it's also busy. Summers are really, really busy times of year for us because we're always still working on things for the classroom. And for me, I took students to Europe this summer to do a tour, and that was fun too, but it's a lot of work to organize. And when we start getting closer to the beginning of the school year, most of the teachers that I know are starting to get ready for the school year. And so we're revamping our lesson plans and we're coming up with new ideas. Some people are doing workshops. It's not all fun and games, right? It's busy and it's stressful because there's always a little bit of anxiety before the next school year. You want to be a better teacher. You want your school year to go better. You want it to run smoothly. And so you're worried about all of these things, and that can be a little bit overwhelming. And I thought it was interesting because I follow Jerry Brooks on TikTok. And if you don't know him, and you might not if you're not in the educational world, but he's hilarious. He is a school principal, but now he goes around and he speaks to other teachers about different things. He does a lot of professional development, but he's really funny. And he's always performing little skits on TikTok, really, really funny. And he had a TikTok the other day. He said, teachers are getting ready to go back into the classroom. And he said he had an image behind him. This is what a classroom looks like in July. And they've just freshly polished the floors and things are still packed up. Teachers are going to be coming in here and they're going to be unpacking their classrooms. But he said, teachers, I want to take a moment to say this. As you prepare to come back to the classroom, make sure you take care of your mental health. And I thought that was interesting, but he makes a very good point. You can't be an effective teacher if you're burnout and if you don't take care of yourself. In the same way, whatever profession you do, if you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, if you are a bus driver, whatever profession you are, you can't be very effective if you're burnt out and if you haven't taken care of your own mental health. And again, that's one of the first things we're just like, it's fine, I'll be okay. And if anybody asks you, how are you doing? You'd say, I'm okay. And you wouldn't say anything else and you'd just let it go. Well, we know that's not true. I don't know of anybody who's just okay right now. Everything is so crazy in the world. I don't think anyone's truly okay. I think everyone's feeling a little bit shaken up by just everything that's going on. That's why our own mental health is so important. And that's where the self-care comes in. You have to know when you're not okay to say, I need help. It's okay to seek counseling. It's okay to go talk to your friends. It's okay to get coaching, whatever you need to do. What's not okay is to ignore it and act like nothing's wrong. And that was a hard thing for me because I witnessed a lot of people do that after my mom died. I saw people who did not process their grief. And as I talk about in my book, that just blew up in just crazy ways, things that I never could have imagined happening. Like, I still can't believe that this is the reality we live in. I would never have dreamed that my mom passing away would have caused so much change in my life. And I'm starting to try to put everything back together again. And it's been almost 3 years and it's taken that long. I had to start incorporating that self-care back. For me, a big part of the self-care was going to counseling, and it really, really helped me. because I had a counselor who was amazing. And when I would say things that other people would say, well, why are you angry? You shouldn't be angry. That's not okay to be angry. And the counselor was like, of course you should be angry. You have every right to be angry. That's not an invalid feeling, but let's explore that. That was super helpful. Just having somebody who validated that what I felt was okay and that it was normal. Maybe some of you are feeling that way. Maybe your self-care involves going and finding someone that you can talk to, whether, again, it's a counselor or a coach. Coaches also, I think, people aren't really sure sometimes what coaches do. But in my particular situation, sometimes I just listen to what you've got going on and try to help you look at things from a different perspective and give you steps you can take to get yourself back on the right track. And sometimes I think that that is one of the best things. I went to a coach for a while too, and it was super helpful. Another thing that's really helpful is just to honor how you're feeling. A lot of self-care involves just letting everything out. Okay, this happened today and this is how I'm feeling. Oftentimes we bottle it in and we don't really want to let others know how we're feeling. And I know in my situation, sometimes I feel like whenever I try to talk to somebody else about how I'm feeling, I feel like maybe I'm burdening them. And that isn't the case. But I know that a lot of people feel that way. So you don't necessarily have to talk to another physical human being to express what you're feeling. You can write it down in a journal, or you can just speak it out loud if you're by yourself. Just say what's happening and how you're feeling. It's the act of getting it out and processing that's really super helpful. And that's how we get it out of our physical bodies so that it's not trapped there causing other issues with us. That trapped emotion becomes disease in the body, really. And I say this meaning it can just cause you to become sick if you don't physically address it. And I know a lot of people might be saying, oh, I don't really believe that, but I've seen it happen. And I've worked with clients before where I know that part of the reason that they are not feeling well and not doing well has more to do with emotional stuff that's just manifested in the physical. And I've seen that with myself as well. Whenever I would hold things in and not say anything, all of a sudden I would feel like this pain in my shoulder and in my back. And I went to a person who did a Reiki session one time and they're like, why do you feel like you're being stabbed in the back? I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've had this pain. And they said, yeah, it's because you physically feel like someone has stabbed you in the back because you have had something happen to you where you felt betrayed and you haven't really dealt with the emotions of that. And it really makes sense if you think about it. But we don't want to feel physical symptoms from that. So it's really important to honor how you're feeling. If you need a break, take a break. I know I've had days before where I woke up and everything started going wrong. And I remember I was talking to a counselor one time and she said, it's okay to take a day off if you need it and to not be sick, but just take the day if you need it. And I was like, really? This is a foreign concept to me because before that I would say, oh, I have to be sick in order to take my sick days. She said, yeah. One day I got up and I spilled a pot of coffee all over the floor. And then something else happened. She said, I spilled something all over myself and I was just in a really bad place. She said, I just thought to myself, you're not going to be any good to your clients if you're like this anyway. You deserve a break. You're having a bad day. Just give yourself some grace. Take the day. And then she said she took the day and then did some things to help her get back to a sense of feeling peaceful and at balance. I think she went and got a massage. That is perfectly okay. It's okay to say I need a break. It's okay to say I need to take care of myself. It's okay to put yourself first. And I think so many of us think that that's selfish. It's not. Boundaries are a beautiful thing. And so self-care often involves boundaries. It means not going to the thing that's going to cause me panic and anxiety if I don't want to go. If you're like me, sometimes you get asked to go to different events and then you agree and then later you're like, why did I say yes to that? I don't want to be there. This is not my cup of tea. This isn't something that I enjoy doing. I don't know why I said yes. So it's okay to say no, to put up boundaries, to only say yes to things that really feel like a soul yes. Make time in your day. I always say this, make a list of things that you love doing that make you feel better. And my list would look different than yours, but for example, on my list, I have take a hot bath with Epsom salt and some essential oils. I have a certain playlist on my phone. Listen to this playlist, light a candle, just lay back and relax. Another thing on my thing to do list that brings me joy would be go get ice cream. I love ice cream. Just go get ice cream. You can even walk to the ice cream place and enjoy your walk while you're on the way there. Another thing that I really like to do is to go get a massage. So go get a massage, make yourself feel better. Sometimes changing your makeup routine or your hairstyle, whatever. It's going to be different for every person. Read a good book. Listen to a good podcast. I like to watch comedians because then I'm laughing and I've forgotten all about whatever was bothering me. I also like to watch sappy rom-com movies. Those make me laugh and they're also very heartfelt, and so that would be on my list too. My point is, make a list of all of the things that you really, really enjoy doing. Travel would be another thing for me, so I might do a little day trip or something. What is it that's going to bring you joy? Make a list of all of the things that you can think of that you enjoy doing and that change your mood. That's the thing. We're trying to pick ourselves up. And not that we're trying to forget the bad thing that happened to us, because stuff happens. But we don't have to wallow in that place of depression and anxiety and feeling bad. We don't. We think we do sometimes. And I know I've been there. But the way that we change how we feel is to do something different. You're actually making new neural pathways in the brain when you do that. And for most of us, a lot of times we are stuck in survival mode. That means we're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode where we're just making decisions based on survival. And we're not really truly living and enjoying life. And I think we get there a lot of times. Sometimes we'll be in a good place and then all of a sudden something happens and then we find ourselves right back into that fight, flight, or freeze mode, and we're feeling the anxiety, we're not feeling well, we're not doing well. You can choose to stay there, or you can try to find some things to do to shift your mood, your energy. And at first you're going to have to force yourself to do these things, but when we are making new connections, we are rewiring the brain, which is already focused and trained to focus on the negative. So we have to get out of that. And the way to get out of that is through mindfulness practices. And of course, the best way to do that is through self-care. Finding things that make you feel better. And everybody has something that if you said, hey, go with me and let's do this, you'd be like, yes, that's exactly what I love doing. Like for me, it would be, let's go to the beach. Oh my gosh, I love the beach. Yes, that would be fantastic. What is it? What tops your list? Make a list of things that you really enjoy and have that list ready to go so that when you're in that place, pick something from that list. And here's the other thing. When I'm telling you to incorporate self-care, I don't mean just when you're feeling bad. You should be doing this every day. You should be making time for yourself every day. It doesn't have to be hours, but I think the more time you spend, the better. Pick something from your list, like this morning, I'm going to have coffee outside. I'm going to sit in the sunshine. I'm going to watch all the birds flying from tree to tree. I'm going to look at my beautiful flowers. You're being fully present and you're enjoying that moment. Or I'm going to call my best friend on the phone and we're just going to laugh for an hour. We're just going to have a conversation and laugh because that makes me feel better. Or I'm going to go schedule a massage for today because, I'm already kind of sore and in pain from the week. So I'm going to go let them take care of me. And then that's going to make me feel better. Schedule some time every day to do something good for yourself. I know the energies are really, really heavy right now. I'm on Facebook and seeing people saying things like, I've never unfriended so many people, and I can't believe I've seen so many ignorant comments. When you spend time absorbing all of that, it can be so negative and it can be very draining. Maybe take some time away from social media. Another form of self-care would be to clean up your social media accounts. Maybe there are people you follow and you're like, you know what? I don't really need to follow those people anymore. And you don't have to unfriend them. Just hit the unfollow button. Then you don't see their stuff that's really draining, but they still think you're friends. So it's no big deal. Choose who you want to be around. You can choose to go on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram and find different pages and creators who have really positive, uplifting, and amazing stuff. And I tell you what, nothing makes me feel better than going on TikTok and suddenly finding myself in the algorithm of funny dog videos. I know this sounds really weird and silly, but at night sometimes I will be scrolling on TikTok and all of a sudden I'm just on this algorithm where I'm seeing dogs doing funny things. It's the best. I love the people who create that content because it's really funny and I don't have to think about anything. I just laugh and they're so cute and it makes you feel better. Try to find things like that. Clean up your social media. And instead of surrounding yourself with people who are arguing, and trust me, I know what's going on is important, but you don't have to surround yourself with it 24/7. You can take breaks and you can clean up your social media and you can try to find accounts that will lift you up rather than making you feel like doom and gloom. Because that's all that's out there right now, are people wanting to make you feel like you should be scared. And I've seen so much stuff lately. Just let all of that go. It's not important. You know what you're going to do politically, whatever. That's all that matters. Surround yourself with people who try to lift you up, not drag you down. That's what's going to get you through. Don't drive yourself crazy. Take a break from social media if you need to. Read a good book. I know of an author who wrote 2 really good books, so if you're looking for something to read, I've got a few suggestions for you. Do you like how I subtly advertise there? Listen to a good podcast like this one. I've already mentioned a few on this podcast that are a part of this ethereal podcast network that I think are wonderful podcasts that you can follow. There's The Reluctant Medium or The Skeptic Metaphysicians. Those are great podcasts to listen to. Plus, there's so many more out there. I mean, there's so many amazing creators out there. Try to find things that feed your soul, not that scare you to death and make you want to hide under the covers. That's not helpful. Do something kind for yourself every day. You know, this really is a miracle to be here. And I know so many people who say, I hate it here and I just want to go home. You're missing the beautiful part of life. I get that things happen that are not beautiful. And trust me, I am not immune to that. I have had so many things in my life happen to me that were not beautiful. But there are so many things in my life that have been beautiful and are wonderful. And I choose to focus on those things instead of all of the bad things that have happened. There are still so many blessings out there. Blessings are wherever you look for them. So time to find them in your own life. Focus on where they are. I wanted to pull a few cards for you today. And so I used Angelo Rose's deck. And the first one that came out, I love this because I pull the cards after I already have my topic ready to go. And you cannot make this up because almost always they align so perfectly. And the first card that came out is Soothe. How can you soothe yourself today? What does your body, mind, and soul need? Fill up your soul cup today. Journal, take a bath, cry if you need to, buy yourself flowers, take a nap. I love that because I love the idea of buying yourself flowers. They're so beautiful and you don't need somebody else to give them to you. The mantra that goes with this card is, I honor what my mind, body, and soul need because I matter. The second card is kindness. One way to show yourself love is to practice speaking kind and loving words to yourself and others. Words hold energy. List 3 words that describe yourself today. And the words better be kind. I am loving. I'm talented. I am full of talent. I am energetic. I am amazing. What are 3 words that would describe you in a loving and kind way? The mantra that goes with this card is, I speak kind words to myself and others. And the last card that came out is, come home to you. Life can feel challenging when we are faced with something hard. In the discomfort of situations, it's normal to want to escape or run from it. Be with the discomfort. Be with the grief. Be with the emotions that want to move through you. You are not alone. It will get better, but first just be with your soul. Do you need to cry, be angry, laugh, journal, play, or sleep? Be with you. The mantra that goes with this card is, I am not alone. I am safe. I am loved. All right, guys, do whatever you need to do to honor yourself and take care of yourself today. Know that you are truly loved, not only by the universe, but also by me. I'm sending you so much love and light. I hope you have a fantastic day. Make time for you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.